Hey Jaden, this is a quick demo video for you for your Graflex that you ordered from me. Just got done with it yesterday and I wanted to make you a demo video, explain to you some things. You didn't buy a blade from me, you'll be getting your own blade. So this is an 89 Sabres Graflex. One thing to know about these hilts is whatever 1-inch blade, it takes a 1-inch diameter blade. Wherever you get your blade, you're probably going to end up having to sand it a lot to fit into the blade holder that's in the hilt. So what I did before I started this video is I've got this little test blade right here just to show you that it works. I didn't sand my test blade because it's just something I have laying around to test Sabres, so it took me a little bit to get it in here. Did that off camera so I wouldn't waste time, but just remember your pins are about right here into your hilt. They're past the glass eye, so that way when you turn on the Sabre you get a nice shine through. So you know you're looking at about that much of your blade. You're going to need to sand with just some sandpaper. Just do some circular motions and then keep trying it until you're comfortable with the fit. Either you can have it fit really tight where you don't have to use your blade retention screw right here, which I'm not using it right now because my test blade is really tight in here, or you sand it down enough to where you actually need to use that to hold your blade in. But anyway, this is a 2-button setup. So your top button right here, that's your activation button, and then your slide tab right here is your auxiliary. So to get to your battery compartment, which you do have a removable battery from, it's a removable battery system on here, a little bit different from the picture on my Etsy, but I've moved to doing a removable battery for everything. If you don't already have a lithium-ion charger, you could get one from Amazon, Smart Charger. You could get one from any vape store that you might have in town. They all take the same type of charger, and then that is the battery. I'm sending you a 3000 mAh 18650 lithium-ion battery. You need at least 3000 to run a NeoPixel. If you had higher, that would be fine. So let's get into it. To open this guy up and get to your chassis, you want to flip this up. When you flip this up, you might find that your card is a little loose right here. I didn't glue it down. I don't like doing that unless I have to. You might decide to run some glue on just the edge of it right here. If you do, just do one edge, slide it into place, lock it down, leave it overnight. That way it'll never come out on you again. But some people like to change these cards out or whatever you like to do, so I left it. When the clamp's down, it doesn't free float. It's tight in there, so just be aware of that. So it's on a J connector system, so when you got that clamp, you just push in and rotate counterclockwise, and the pommel comes right off. And then you have your board up here, so easy access to your SD card. This does have a drop of E6000 on the underside of the board to keep it in place. I normally do a press fit. This particular print on this chassis, it was tight but not as tight as I liked it, so a little dab of E6000 keeps the board in place where if you ever wanted to pull it up you could, but since you have access to your SD card right here, you really shouldn't need to. 28mm bass speaker, and then here's where your battery goes. So on these chassis I do have a positive and a negative sign. Let me move this out of the way. I do have a positive and negative sign, positive and negative for battery orientation, and then also the spring is your negative. So we'll throw a battery in here. Always just put the negative in first and pop it right in just like this.
A young Jedi named Darth Vader. He was a pupil of mine until he turned to evil. Helped the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights.
That's a good sign when you pop the battery in. And then you could slap your pommel back on. Line up the slots, this time clockwise, get it where you want it. Slamp the clamp back down, it's not going anywhere, your card's not going anywhere, everything's good. So let me turn off this light. Like I said, top button is your activation. Smooth swing. Flash on flash. Just flick this for blaster deflex. It's on the spring mechanism, so when you flick it, you can just let go of it. But if you hold it down, you'll get blade lockup. And if you want to change color while the blade is on, hold your auxiliary button back and twist your wrist.
Spectrum.
You'll hear spectrum. Now you can actually twist the hilt like this, right? Until you find something that you like, any color. There's a bunch on here. We'll go with green. Once you find one, just tap the button. You'll hear that. And then I gave you a lot of different blade profiles on here, or blade effects. So when the blade is on, hold back your auxiliary and twist your wrist like you would to change color, but then keep it held back.
Spectrum.
Keep it held back.
Blade profile.
Now let go. Now you can twist the hilt again, slowly, to cycle through different blade effects. There's a bunch on here to choose from. And then when you find one that you like, tap the button. And as long as the battery stays in there, just hold that button down. Sorry, hold that button down and turn it off. As long as you keep the battery in there, next time you turn it on, it will remember that blade color and that blade effect that you picked for that sound font. Just like that. But when you take the battery out and then put it back in, it's going to revert back to what I programmed that sound font, the color and effect I had. So those are the ways that you change your color and your blade effect. Now, I gave you the 14 preloaded fonts on here, and then there's one font that I put on here just so that I could test it and show you what an aftermarket font looks like. On this particular one, if you tap the button twice while the blade is off, get some music in the background, and you can do anything while that music's playing. See your shine through too, I forgot to show you. In your glass eye, looks good. See? Turn it off. And if you want the music to turn off, just double tap the button again. Just like that. And we'll turn this light back on. And then one thing to remember with the CFX board is even when the board is off, it still will slowly drain power. So when you're not using the hilt, just keep the battery out. And that way it'll hold a charge. And that is your hilt, sir. I'll get it out tomorrow. Thank you.